And back to our regular scheduled programming. Sorry about the review hiatus, guys. I've been eating a lot of edibles lately, and when I go to bed I wake up and these videos just keep appearing. But we're back now, and in this review we're going to talk about Flow, YouTube, Netflix, Meta, and of course China. If you've watched my Lachlan Giles review, I mentioned how if BJJ Fanatics don't keep up with innovations, they will slowly start to become MySpace. Striking gold early, but with no vision, Bernardo will ultimately become Tom. It's not like I'm out for BJJ Fanatics and want them to fail. I'm just forewarning the inevitable innovations that will render BJJ Fanatics a relic of the past. For instance, why aren't Jiu-Jitsu athletes using Cameo?
Hey Timmy, Chuck Liddell here. L-Dog tells me after 40 years you're finally coming out of the closet, man. Yeah, you're homosexual and you're proud of it. So, man, good for you.
What if hobbyists have a question but don't have the pocket for a whole instructional? What if hobbyists have no use for the rest of the instructional because they only have one technique they can't seem to pull off, and they have one burning question for an expert on the matter, but the said expert has a congested DM box and lives on the other side of the world?
Mumbai, Indiana.
Think of Cameo like a super chat, something similar to what Firas Zahabi does, where he hosts live Ask Me Anythings, where the paid comments or super chats take precedence in the question and answer parts of his podcast.
ReviewFanatics. What is ReviewFanatics?
And again, I don't say these things to put Bernardo out of business. I mean, who doesn't love Bernardo? And I don't think he will for a while, but eventually other people will catch up to their following, and then other than a service of marketing, people will have no use for Fanatics. Another platform that's making better decisions are Flow. Now I'm a little late on this one, but Flow have just put up WNO and have uploaded Isaac and Jacob Couch's match to YouTube, and ultimately I think they've made the right decision, especially when athletes like Isaac don't particularly like to market themselves and don't have a YouTube channel. Audiences might never get to see Isaac perform like he did here. After the complaints on microphone issues, long matches, and of course cat scratches at the camera, they are starting to listen to the people, and the people pay and don't want to pay X amount of money for only 2% of content. Flow seems to have seen how the Olympics ruined themselves and started listening to the fans, and for that we should support them.
Because this very video was taken down by YouTube as per the request of the IOC.
It was very interesting to see Craig's breakdown of the event. He talked about everyone else's matches and not a single mention of Isaac's performance. Out of respect? Out of spite? Who knows? Nonetheless, Isaac's performance was nothing less than surgical precision. As always, this competitor proves once again that he is something very special. So this was Flow's first step in the right direction, but if Flow want to make themselves bigger and better, we're going to have to examine the blunders of other streaming sites. Netflix has been said to be plummeting, and have recently been actioning a crackdown on sharing devices. Which, if Flow has any brains, knows users of their platform are doing the same. Netflix was then outed by other platforms like Amazon Prime for this foolish chess move. As far as Flow is concerned, there are no other competitors to them. Yet, YouTube is considered one, but rather than competing with them, use them. Smart move by Flow, but for how long? Rather than going all in on YouTube like B-Team. Seeing as Netflix is burning, I thought I'd take this opportunity to throw gasoline on the fire. A lot of you don't know this about me, but see this button right here? Your boy is the one that's responsible for it. I was pestering Netflix for years about a shuffle button. 3 out of 4 times they couldn't care less. But then finally, the guy on the other side asks if he could record the conversation. Blew his mind. He then got a whole speech by yours truly, about even iPods having shuffle buttons, because sometimes you don't know what you feel like listening to until it starts playing. This is why regular TV was way better, because you'd be in the kitchen halfway doing something, and then in the corner of your eye you'll catch the middle of a TV show or a movie you hadn't watched in years, and you say, oh, I haven't watched this in years, and rekindle the love you had for the movie or TV show. And if you hadn't watched it, you'd be intrigued and enticed enough to watch it. But now there's so many choices on Netflix, you spend hours looking for something and you don't end up picking anything, or you resort to something you've already watched a million times because it's safe. The paradox of choice. Now we have so many platforms, let alone movies and TV shows, that we're gonna need shuffle buttons for platforms next. But even then, you know it doesn't matter whatever it lands on, because you know you'll just pick YouTube or the hub in the end. At least now with this match on YouTube, it is now a piece of history you can rewatch and rekindle. It can pop up a few years from now, and lovers of the sport can say, hey, I haven't watched this in years, and not be in the wrong living room/platform to miss it, so to speak. I suggested the button to Netflix a long time ago, and lo and behold, there it is. And what do I get? No money, no credit, no shout out, not even a button in my name. It says in Chat GPT that it was Netflix's ingenious team of engineers, whom one of which thought to steal my idea for his own. Thanks Netflix, you walking abortions. But it doesn't matter because Netflix freaked it up anyway. 1. A movie or TV show takes too long to know if you feel like watching it because the opening credits and production company are before the effing movie. Imagine if you did that with music? You're listening to your iPod. I don't know if people still listen to iPods anymore. Gen Z, you probably don't even know what an iPod is. But anyway, you're listening to a song. You shuffle your iPod and before the song starts playing it says produced by blah blah blah, written by blah 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 by blah 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 records. Who gives a freak? Who cares? If we want to know that information, we'll find it out, don't you worry. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, you shuffle and you might shuffle right into the middle of a effing TV show you never even started. So you don't know who the F is who, you don't know what the barnacles is going on, you don't know what the zoinks the plot is, and the plot might even be hecking spoiled for you, excuse my French. So they need to fix that somehow, maybe make a genre, category, scene shuffle button, or even something like this decision maker app where you can load different choices, who knows, but update it somehow. Pornhub, if you're listening to this, don't get any ideas, don't you put a shuffle button in, or people are going to end up in places they never wanted to go. But anyway, Netflix is slowly crumbling, slowly being chewed out by its competitors because it can't put ads into its platform, and good on them, I commend them. They said from the beginning that they didn't want to put ads into their platform for their viewers' experience, and they stuck to their guns. They didn't want to F up their platform, but there's a problem, when they're trying to stay ahead of the competition who are putting ads into their platforms. Netflix like Flow are trying to stay ahead by paying for the best content, but not getting enough money from their users because all of you cheeky bastards are all device sharing. But now there's so much content out there, people can't even find the thing that Netflix pays billions of dollars for. Plus you guys don't even have the attention spans to watch it anyway. 5 seconds in, you're already on your phone. That's why they're slowly jacking up the prices of the subscription dollar by dollar, because they can't run ads. Now, this is the polar opposite to YouTube, which is entirely ads. For all you Gen Z kids out there, this might not make sense to you, but I'll tell you about a peaceful time, in black and white, when there were no ads. Then it started with 1 ad. Then people started downloading ad blockers, and then it became 2 ads. Then they had ads in the middle of a video. Then they had ads at the end of a video. Then they had ads, 1 at the beginning, 1 in the middle, and then 1 at the end of a podcast talking about ads with ad interludes. And now you have Katy Perry on the back end of a career singing the most insufferable song for Uber Eats. Before now, the career of an American star would die in Japan with Japanese ads, but now they die in Uber Eats commercials. Soon, you know that little thumbnail preview? You know that thing where one day you hovered your mouse over the thumbnail and just started flipping playing? And you're like, when the darn did that start happening? Or even the little thumbnails next to your searches? Soon they're going to put ads in that. There's a really good video on YouTube about Tinder and how Tinder started incorporating ads because they wanted a piece of that sweet advertisement money. But they came across a problem. If people were matching, you'd be potentially losing a customer. You'd be potentially losing 2 customers rather. And advertisers, investors, they're not going to like that, so what do? Start introducing things like Tinder Gold, limited swipes, boost, all these different ways to get money. Keep all the poor users from matching with the other poor users. Squeeze them for all their self-esteem is worth. So they redesign the algorithm to not show users to other users. Because if the app did what it was advertised to do, then no one would be using it. So just when the user gets over it because he's not getting any matches, right when they're about to delete it, boom, they give him a match. They give him that dopamine hit, right after all that self-esteem deflation. It's a really good video and I highly recommend you watch it. I'll leave a link in the description below. I believe it's called The Evil Economics of Tinder or something like that. But if we don't have ads, then we don't have YouTube the way it is, and it might start to crumble like Netflix or be at the mercy of things like YouTube Premium, YouTube Gold or YouTube Platinum. So what do? You remember these? These were mini-games. Mini-games were games within the game that certain games built into the loading part of the game. I'll stop saying games now. But they were so good when you're a kid because you hated waiting, because when you're a kid you got shit to do. So when the game had a mini-game, you were so grateful that the game even thought of it, to put that in for us. Where am I going with this? You see the skip button? I propose to you. YouTube. You make it 1 second. But, you put it anywhere on the screen, and if you can't click it within the second, you make it 10 hours. Or a no time limit flow grappling match. Just kidding, ha, 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 although investors and advertisers would love that, but no, you still just make it 5 seconds. Because it doesn't matter how many times you think of a new angle to spice up your ad. At first it was, don't click skip, don't skip this ad, I've got something really important to show you. Frick you. That didn't work. And then it was reverse psychology. Oh sure, skip this ad. Heck off. It doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter how clever you think you are, it doesn't matter who you get to say it. I'm clicking skip out of the resentment of you even just showing me this ad. I think they got Alec Baldwin to say that one. Which if it was, Jesus, I bet you they pulled that one real quick. No, I'm not saying make a mini-game ad where Alec Baldwin tries to shoot the skip button, that would be a horrible idea. Why would you even say that? I'm saying no matter what you do, everyone hates ads. You know how I feel when I get a survey instead of an ad. I'm so grateful, even though it's still kind of an ad, but I love it in comparison to the gee-whizzing double video ad. I mean, I still skip it, but the emotions are relative and it pales in comparison to the hatred I have for the other ads. So if you're making an ad, build a relationship with your audience, make them feel grateful by giving them an emotion. Mini-games are an emotion, mini-games are fun. Do ones with QR codes, with giveaways, give people an incentive to watch, be creative with it. Maybe have normal ads sometimes and have QR giveaways some other times. Make people want to watch the ad. Now they're watching intently with their phones. Scan QR code, enter your email address for a chance to win a free instructional that everyone pirates anyway. Boom, email list. Even if the QR code giveaway is like $1 million and it's only on the screen for half a second, make him squirm, like those claw games from the arcade. You know you're not going to win, but it's just staring at you. A glass case of hope. I suppose the lesson with Netflix or any of these platforms are that these companies are at the whim of investors but also are not able to relate to the punter's experience. Take Meta for example. Facebook is slowly dying as its main demographic is also slowly dying. So in an ingenious move, Mark Zuckerberg decides to create Meta. A virtual reality where you can be whoever you want to be, talk to whoever you want to talk to and have whoever or whatever you want sit on your face. I mean socialize with whoever you want to socialize with. But since its launch, Meta doesn't seem to be taking off as the virtual utopia it was promised to be, due to the public's apprehension to plugging into the matrix of a counterfeit reality. So what does Mark do? He thinks to himself, why is no one plugging in? If they're not online, where do they live? If they're not in Meta, then whichever reality they reside in is a direct competitor to my version of reality, so he looks into all the places people don't have their phone on them. Hydrofoiling, MMA and Jiu-Jitsu. When the humanoid customers are not in the metaverse, they are at Jiu-Jitsu competitions. So if the humanoids won't come to the metaverse, then the Zuck must go to the humanoids. Excellent promotional move by the Zuck. So even when the humanoids are in their silly reality, they cannot escape the metaverse. No, I'm only joking. I love that the Zuck's out there being healthy and breaking arms. Shout out to the competitors that beat him in competition, because now all of your past online transgressions have probably now been suspiciously leaked and your identities sold to China. In all seriousness, the reason why Meta doesn't work is because when you put the headset on, you still remember the continuity of your life before you put the headset on. The headset that promised a new reality. You still remember that you are Joe Schmo that has a life, has a job, has bills to pay, has a family, etc. So when you put the headset on, there's no more room for this new reality. You still remember that you are you, and that you've just put this headset on. But if at some point the metaverse headset was sold with an accessory kit of amnesia spray? Just like in a dream where you don't remember how you got there, you are now primed to believe everything in this new reality. And you can totally see Mark Zuckerberg being Mark Zuckerberg, not having the social intelligence or humanity of an Elon Musk, selling out humanity for a business venture, making a deal with China who will supply the amnesia spray for cheap. And China being China will instead swap out the temporary amnesia spray for a permanent one and ultimately take over the Western world, because we're all idiots. Idiots who know that TikTok is infecting us, but we still use it anyway, for money, even when we know if we continue to use it, we won't even have the freedoms to spend the money that we sold our countries out for. Because a society that worships money above virtues, values, ethics and morals are the easiest to puppet. I feel sorry for this kid Liam.
No, Liam, he's good. Give him a follow. He's running our TikTok. I hope he's still posting.
How is our TikTok doing?
They break his leg and then they infect his IP address, knowing full well how bad it is.
I don't know.
I don't go on TikTok because I won't let the CCP get access to my data.
Which reminds me, some of you are still not using a VPN. Gee willikers, if the TikTokers in your Jiu-Jitsu gym don't care about the safety of you or your country, at the very least, protect yourself. Click the link in the description below and get SurfShark for less than a cup of coffee. Plus you get access to any country's Netflix library, all around the world. You bought the Z-Lock instructional so you wouldn't get your leg broken by a girl. Make sure you buy a VPN so you don't have your identity stolen by China. While we're on the topic of innovations, Netflix. You should have come to me when your company was in turmoil trying to figure out your next move, and even though you stole my idea, I'll give you another one. Make a comment section. Humanoids are social creatures, and if you want to know your audience, build a community by putting a comment section in your platform. And another thing, while we are at it, YouTube, why don't you have an audio function for your comment section?
40 years, you're finally coming out of the closet, man.
I don't care who he is, how good he is, or how famous he is. He's gonna leave his fucking legs behind.
Being super honest, when you in a porn site, you search whatever you like to see, like 2 girls together, 2 blondies, you search. When you're curious about something, you go and you search.
You the booger man now.
So we just move away from our training partner with our hips and get enormous.
To sell the fight, and I don't think there's anybody in this business that does it better than me. Yeah. Maybe it was a Gregor McConnor.
Who cares? Who cares, brother? Who cares, brother? Who cares? Today, smash.
And I was 2% African, so I am legally allowed to say the word nigga.
The eye tracking sensors in the Apple Vision Pro are going to be used as data collection on human reactions to visual stimulus like Minority Report or a Black Mirror episode, and also be sold to China as well.
早上好，中国！现在我有冰淇淋。
Bro, fucking hell, I grew up in Rotorua, eh? Grew up in Rotorua, moved to Honganui, and eventually Auckland, the 09. I'll tell you one thing. I know more about Kiwi culture and more about New Zealand culture. I've been on the grounds. I know more about that than this guy over here. Look at my skin. My fucking skin is black. Do I fucking look like a Kiwi to you?
Black outside, China inside. I am Chinese.
When the crap are you going to do Jiu-Jitsu instructional reviews again? Don't worry guys, they're coming.